Hey, alright, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving, of course, on the praise and fear to Father, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, QADASH. That's some get double honor to Apostle and Great Millstone who do well. This is your brother Hakam, member of the Great Millstone Atlanta camp, and we're back again today with another video. This one's going to be called, Who was the Caesar during the time of YAHAWASHI? Who was the Caesar during the time of YAHAWASHI? And the Caesar of the time of YAHAWASHI, okay, which Sheikh proclaimed that they wanted as their king. This is fucking insane. You know, but hey, that goes to show you that the same people are back. Okay, because you have the same, like a Charleston white ass nigga, okay, who will say the same thing about YAHAWASHI. Okay, he's back. All these souls are back here again today on the earth. All right, while I was watching the El Apostle Gabar Psalms, the second chapter breakdown, he was talking about if you can't even understand 1 Corinthians 14:32, which I have pulled up. It's actually my second time making this video. Thought I can make it a little bit better, so I'm remaking it. But, you know, the spirits are just not dealing with you, man. You know, if you can't understand simple things such as reincarnation, okay, you know, a soul just returning back onto the earth, because you can't necessarily destroy energy, all right, and the Lord just probably hates your ass, man. You know, anyways, this is 1 Corinthians 14 verse 32. The spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets. For power or God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the church of the saints. So, you know, it's a very simple thing. Now, the Caesar during the time of YAHAWASHI, his name is Tiberius Caesar. Tiberius Julius Caesar Augustus, which his stepfather is Augustus. All right, which Augustus ruled 41 years, okay, during the Roman Empire. He was one of the Caesars, 12 Caesars, written about in 2nd Ezra 11 chapter, okay, after, I believe, Julius Caesar. Now, we have some history on him, and he's also found within the scriptures, showing you the scriptures are a historical book, okay? It's not just some, fairy tale novel. Hold on, put the air on in my car. It is hot as fuck outside today. So here you have it. It says, Luke 3 verse 1, now in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, so he was reigning 15 years of Tiberius Caesar. So Caesar, the word Caesar just means what? Basically king, served, which that word, that basically a king. Okay, I guess you can say it like that. But remember in second, is that Maccabees, it talks about how, you know, that they ruled in senate houses, basically. So they didn't necessarily have kings, but they had elected officials, I guess you could say. Which this guy Tiberius Caesar is a fucking mo. Okay, he was a child molesting mo, if you really get into his history and what he was about when he was on the island of Capri. But, you know, I'm not going to get too in-depth into him. I just want to show you Akim, okay, who was the Caesar during the time of YAHAWASHI. You know, because you can quote John 19 and 15, which I have. It says, but they cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, shall I crucify your king? Okay, which Pilate's a wicked ass nigga. Which we'll get into Pilate as well. The chief Pilate was just a governor over Judea at the time, hence why he was dealing with the case of YAHAWASHI. You see, because Judea was what? A Roman province. As you know, see, Puerto Rico is basically like a province of the United States of America, I guess you could say, or Canada has provinces instead of states, I guess you could say. That's the same thing, okay? They just took over the land and they made them basically tributes to the Roman Empire. Hence why a lot of the Roman Jewish war happened, because what? Due to the taxes. Jake was so fucking mad that they were getting taxed so heavy by the Roman Empire. It says, but they cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, we have no king but Caesar. All right, so this is the Caesar they're talking about. Okay, Tiberius Julius Alexander, which he's the stepson of Augustus. All right. So I have a Wikipedia article here about Tiberius Julius Alexander, and we'll go into this. Is Tiberius Julius Caesar Alexander. It says the 16th November 42 BC to the March 16th 37 AD was a Roman emperor from AD 14 until 37. He succeeded his stepfather Augustus, the first Roman emperor. See, it says Tiberius was born in Rome in 42 BC to Roman politician Tiberius Claudius Nero. So okay, let me see if I can grab something right quick. All right, so okay, just had to make sure. Um, yeah. So, okay, Tiberius was born in Rome in 42 BC. I see my notes or something. To Roman politician Tiberius Claudius Nero and his wife Livia Drusilla. In 38 BC, Tiberius' mother divorced his father and married Augustus. See, that's why he's known with the stepson. Following the ultimate, or stepfather, I guess you can say, stepson would be the man we're reading about, Tiberius Julius Alexander. Following the untimely death of Augustus' two grandsons and adopted heirs, Gaius and Lucius Caesar, Tiberius was designated Augustus's successor. Prior to this, Tiberius had proved himself an able diplomat and one of the most successful Roman generals. His conquest of Pannonia, Dalmatia, and Rhaetia, and temporary parts of Germania laid the foundation for the Roman Empire frontier. This is what he looks like, straight Edomite, you know. This guy was a sick fuck, man. Okay, names: Tiberius Claudius Nero, Tiberius Claudius Caesar, you know, which regional name, or regional name would be Tiberius Caesar. Augustus, which there's history on this guy. I'm not gonna get too deep into it, just, you know, keep it simple and fucking sweet. But you have I can find it. See, legacy. I think, yeah, there we go. See if I can grab it right quick. You have coins with his face on it. An example of an Indo-Roman trade and revelations during the period. Silver denarius of Tiberius, 1437, found in India. An Indian copy of the same first century coin of Kushan, king of Kujuli, or Kujul. Oh, goddamn, it's so hard word to pronounce. It's all right. Copying a coin of Augustus. Okay. So yeah, the 12 Caesars detailed in the biographical history of participant from the birth of Julius Caesar, the death of Domitian in 96 AD. Okay. So he's part of this 12 rules of Caesars after Augustus, his stepfather. Gospel Jews and Christians, point right here. The tribute penny mentioned in the Bible is commonly believed to be the Roman denarius, depicting an emperor, Tiberius. Oh, okay, that's kind of heavy. Talking about the tribute penny because everyone works for that same penny. Of course, the Lord's not talking about, okay, this fucking penny, all right, but he's talking about what? The kingdom of heaven. Renter unto Caesar, what is Caesar's? You know, because you remember Jake was trying to tempt him about being taxed. We remember in Romans, the 13th chapter, the Lord said what? Through Paul, the Lord spoke through Paul and said what? Roman 13. Roman, okay. Romans 13, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of power of God. Whosoever there resists the powers resisted the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive unto themselves damnation. Yeah, like for instance, the Sakari. They lead themselves into a damnation. You know, they end up basically looking like the fucking Jim Jones cult. You know, basically offing themselves. Okay, and had planned suicide. Anywho, it says the phrase comes from King James version of the gospel account. Yahawashi said, "It is not lawful to tribute to Caesar or not, and it implies bringing a penny that I may see it," which is the penny, showing you that the scriptures are very real, man. The scriptures are very real. Okay, I thought I was talking about the, you know, the penny. Every man gets the same penny, but I was talking about a different verse. Running around Caesar with Caesars. So this is the penny it's talking about. I mean, or so they say, you know, but just a little food for thought. Anyways, continue on going. It says, according to the Gospels, Yahawashi of Nazareth, of course, and just fucking, here we go. It says, according to the Gospels, Yahawashi of Nazareth's preaching was executed during the reign of Tiberius. This guy right here we're reading about, as you read about him in Luke, the 3rd chapter, by authority of Pontius Pilate. Okay, let's go into the scriptures and where Pontius Pilate can be found. Of course, you already know where Pontius Pilate is found, but where is he, mentioned at first? This is Luke 3, verse 1. Now in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate being governor of Judea, so he was a governor. It's like, for instance, the ministry now would be blamed, right? By certain, agents or whatever it may be. Now we're going to have to go before Brian Kemp because he's the governor. I believe he's still the governor of Georgia. Okay, whoever the governor of Georgia, I believe it's Brian Kemp. We would have to go before him instead of going before Donald Trump. Now, YAHAWASHI does speak about in Matthew the 10th chapter that we will be brought before, see if I can grab it, Matthew's 10, 17, and go on down. See. Matthew's 10, verse 17, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to councils. The word council of the Sanhedrin. Oh, okay, that's pretty bad. So when you talk about councils, what is he talking about? The Jewish Sanhedrin, by analogy, a subordinate tribune, a council, any assembly, essentially magistrates, judges, ambassadors. But he's really talking about these fucking niggas, man. The Sanhedrin, the great council at Jerusalem, consists of 71 members, scribes, elders, prominent members of high priest families, and the high priest, the presidents of the assembly. The most important causes were brought before this tribunal, and much as the Roman rulers of Judea had left to it the power of trying such cases. Yeah, because remember, Paul was getting caught up on his charges. Okay, you remember, they didn't really want to rule it in the Roman government system, I guess you can say. They wanted to keep it within the matter of affair of the Jews, but Paul said, "No, man, fuck that. Bring me in front of the Romans." With the limitations that a capital sentence pronounced by the Sanhedrin was not valid unless it was confirmed by the Roman persecutor. So yeah, that's bad. I didn't even know that was in there, the Sanhedrin. So when Yahushua was talking about they'll bring me before councils of governors for my namesake, for testimony, paraphrasing. I'll just read it. Matthew 10, verse 17, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to councils, talking about the Sanhedrin, okay? And they will scourge you in their synagogues, and you shall be brought before governors, okay? Pontius Pilate, Yahushua is brought before, and kings, modern day king be who today. You read it as, ye shall be brought before Brian Kemp and kings. Nero will be the modern day king of Babylon, aka Trump, for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. Okay. So yeah. So this is why you read Luke 3 and 1. It says, what, now in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate being governor of Judea. Okay, this is why the Lord was brought before Pontius Pilate during the time he was living, okay, and had to go through the crucifixion. All right, dying for the sins of the elected nation of Israel on this go around, and really all of Israel, because all of Israel would be saved. Let's see. It was Pontius Pilate who had the. So these are, like I said, once again, Pontius Pilate is a real person. It has something known as the Pilate Stone. The Pilate Stone is a damaged block of carved limestone with the dimensions 32 inches by 26 inches, which bears a particular intact inscription attributed to Pontius Pilate, a prefect of the Roman province of Judea from AD 26 to 36. It was discovered at the archaeological site of Caesarea Maritimia in 1961. The limestone was discovered in June 1961 by Italian archaeologist Maria Teresa Fortuny Canvit. I'm not the best with names, but you can look it up yourself. During a campaign led by Antonio Fora while excavating the area of an ancient theater built by the decree of Herod the Great, 22 through 10 BC, along with the entire city of Caesarea, the artifact is a fragment of the dedicatory inscription of a latter building, probably a temple that was constructed from AD 26 to 36, possibly in honor of Emperor Tiberius. Remember, once again, let's go back to Luke 3 and 1. It says what? I know I'm reading the scripture again and again, but just for, history's sake, and, you see it, it's hand in hand. The scriptures are real. Luke 3, verse 1, now in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate being governor of Judea. Plain and simple. So they made a whole theater for Tiberius, and guess whose name is on it? Pontius Pilate, because he was governor in Judea. The stone was reused in the 4th century as a building block for a set of stairs belonging to the structure erected behind the stage house of the Herodian Theater, where archaeologists discovered it still attached to the ancient staircase. Which, what does the stone say, bro? I'm just trying to find out what the hell it says. So I read it last night. I made the video last night, but I wanted to remake it. Inscription. It says the partial inscription reads conjugal letters in brackets: Tiberium us Pilate ectis I do. It was Judea. I'll read like that. It says the translation from Latin to English for the inscription reads: the divine Augustus Tiberius, because remember these Caesars thought themselves to be as gods, Pontius Pilate, prefect of Judea, has dedicated this. Now, Pontius Pilate inscription, the original stone, is now located in Israel's museum in Jerusalem. Now, you have a lot of people who are so fucking stupid. I'm going to actually look this up, see if you can see what's inside of it. Yeah, a lot of people are so fucking stupid, they actually believe that the Bible's not real. They'll say, well, Jesus ain't real. You hear that a lot growing up, amongst these fucking Edomites. Of course, they don't believe in the Lord because spirits are all reincarnated. Of course, you can't even. But, when you go to these museums, like last year, I went to the Museum of Bible History up there in Washington, D.C., and they have the HALAL QADASH is plastered there. They have, an artifact, the Edict of Cyrus, which is, it's like a little, it's not the artifact itself, but it's like basically a man-made replica of it. And then these things are real, man. The scriptures are 100% real. All right, and these men who the scriptures talk about walk the earth. All right, and the Lord has given us the information to break these things down. Okay, so this was the man, who Jake cried after, basically calling him king, which would be known as Tiberius Julius Caesar Augustus. Tiberius Julius Caesar Augustus. Anywho, with that, I want to say shalom and call HALAL YAHAWAH BAHASHAM QADASH and Lord's will. This video is edifying. Glad you enjoyed it. Shalom Akim. Shalom.